Welcome to today's video, where we're going to be looking at the topic, what is risk management in project management? And specifically, we are going to be looking at the following things in this video. So first and foremost, we're going to be looking at what is risk management. We're going to be looking at the process. We're going to be looking at some of the key activities that a project manager should be doing with their risk management approach. We're going to be looking at the key artifacts and tools of risk management. We're going to be looking at the benefits of this process. And we're also going to be looking at some examples so you get an understanding of what it looks like in a kind of day-to-day setting and out of theory. So first and foremost, what is risk management? Well, essentially, risk management is a process that enables activities and events to be understood and managed within a project. Now, risk management is all about ensuring that there is a successful outcome of the project. It's all about reducing threats and increasing opportunities and positive outcomes. So I've included a quote here that I found online, which was it described it quite well to me. So risk management is about anticipating what might not go to plan and putting in the place the actions required to either reduce the uncertainty to a tolerable level or prevent them from happening entirely. So the reason why we need risk management is that projects are naturally risky. So by putting in a risk management process, it just enables us to manage risks and stay in full control of our projects and respond accordingly. So here I've documented the general process of risk management. So you can see 4 different boxes here. Now at the bottom, I've quickly just given an overview of what a risk is. So a risk is anything that can affect an outcome. So just bear that in mind as I'm going through these different process steps. So first and foremost, risks need to be identified. We don't know something is a risk until we've kind of identified it and been made aware of it. So first and foremost, identify the risks, and this can be all potential risks, and it can be anything that could go wrong throughout the duration of a project, and it can relate to anything. It could be the scope of the project, it could be the cost of the project, or it could be the quality of the deliverable that is provided as part of the project. Next up, you need to analyze all of the risks. So you need to look at the likelihood of each risk occurring and the impact that that risk will have if it were to occur. Next, there is the planning phase of the process, and that's all about implementing strategy, thinking about the strategies that you will use to manage your risks and how you're going to handle them and what you're going to do. So before you take any action, you need to plan ahead and make sure that you are taking the appropriate course of action and that course of action is justified. Now, the last step there is that action. So those plans that you've come up with in the previous process step, you're putting them into place. So you're working through your risks. You're either reducing your risks, you're avoiding them, those kind of things. There's various different ways to approach your risks, and we will look at those shortly. Now, these are the key activities in risk management, and being proactive is essential. So a project manager should undertake the following activities to manage their risks. So as we've just seen, identifying risks. They should be establishing the probability of each risk happening, understanding the impact that they can have, planning those responses, tracking and monitoring risks, and communicating all the risks that arise and the responses to them with the various different project stakeholders. So these are kind of the core activities. They can be done in various different ways, but this is what you should think about when it comes to a risk management strategy. So here are the different strategies that you can actually put in place when it comes to each and every risk. So you can look to remove the risk entirely, so almost prevent it from happening. Maybe there's some things that you can proactively do to stop them from arising in the first place. Secondly, you can reduce the risk So the second point is in relation really to the first one. So reducing the chance of a risk from happening. So as I say, it's all about identifying where something can unfold and getting there before it kind of can escalate. The next one is reducing the impact of risk as if it were to happen. So impact being, the severity. So each risk will be assigned an impact rating. So something like a low, a medium, a high. And of course, the bigger the impact, the more important it is to put in a strategy in place to basically control it. You can transfer some of or all of the risk to a third party. So an example here would be insurance. So you can minimize your risk. So maybe you've purchased an expensive laptop. You can minimize the risk of damage by getting insurance for that laptop. So if anything were to happen, the risk of damage has been reduced. You can put in place contingency plans. So if a risk were to happen, your strategy would be to do a certain set of steps to either overcome the risk or to basically make the situation better and the project outcome more favourable. Now the last one will not all be kind of possible or acceptable or even the right thing to do for every risk, but that would be accepting it and dealing with the outcome. So this has a lot to do with the probability and impact of a risk. This is something that needs to be assessed on each and every risk. Now I've put down here the key artifacts and tools of risk management. So on the left we have artifacts. So these are the things that are created to help us document and manage and analyze our risks. So the first kind of key documentation is the risk management plan, and that is essentially, it details the entire risk management process of an organization. So that's something that should be set up at the start of a project and routinely accessed, maybe even updated throughout the duration of a project. Next up we have the risk register, also known as the risk log. And that is essentially a repository where all risks can be documented, analysed and tracked by a project manager. So imagine this as a master list which kind of documents all of the different risks and will show things like the impact of each risk from happening and the likelihood as well. And that can give you, it gives a project manager the chance to prioritise their risks and can give kind of a nice visual overview of what needs to happen against each risk. Now the tools to create such artifacts can include project management software. So I talk quite regularly on this channel about Smartsheet. It's something that I use regularly, but it could just be some other spreadsheet software. Anywhere that you can create a risk register or document or analyze the risks that you have. Now other tools that are useful when it comes to risk management include Microsoft Excel, again to create a risk log or register, but it also could be something like Microsoft Teams or Microsoft Outlook for kind of communicating risks and responses or strategies. And then you've got templates as well there. So if you wanted to, if you have various projects and you want a quick risk register for all of them, you could work from a template. So instead of creating from scratch. Now, what are the benefits of risk management? Why should we do this? Well, first and foremost, it's easier to identify projects that are in trouble. So we could see risk projects that might produce deliverables that are lower of quality. We might have some issues with our customers in the future, or it might be we could see projects that may go beyond their initial time frame or expectation for completion. We could also look at projects that have increased costs. So it just gives us a better idea of what projects maybe we need greater management on or to watch closely. Next up, we have the fewer surprises for all project stakeholders. So it basically gives, risk management basically gives greater visibility to all of our project stakeholders and gives them an idea of the challenges we are facing in a kind of timely fashion. Risk management provides better data quality, which can help drive decisions. So if one particular project has a lot of risks, it may impact our decisions on future projects, for instance. And as such, it takes away the guesswork and it gives us some data to kind of work from and base our decisions on. Equally, we can set our expectations. It can help teams remain focused, and it also helps with escalations and makes decisions quicker, clearer and easier. And at the bottom there, it helps to lower the uncertainty and helps us to remain in control of our projects. Now I've got two different risk management examples here, slightly different industries, but it gives you an idea of some of these principles in process. So example one, so imagine a coffee shop that was looking at setting up a new chain or a new shop in a new location. So they can mitigate their risks by choosing location that has a lot of foot traffic, or perhaps maybe not many coffee shops in the area, or kind of similar stores as well. So that would be one risk management strategy that they put in place. In example two, let's imagine an outdoor activity centre that understands that their business is completely weather dependent, so they get a lot of their customers when it's sunny. So in order to alleviate the risk of the large financial hit whenever there is a bad season or a lot of bad weather, the centre might choose to consistently spend low during this period, or even build up cash reserves to cover them. That's another strategy they could put in place there. Of course, it's not the only one, and it's not something that will always materialise. They might not always have bad weather, but it's something that they are planning for. So ultimately, risk management is all about recording, analyse and monitoring, and it's the key to risk management. It's all about understanding the situation, planning ahead, taking action, reviewing and adjusting along the way. And lastly, risk management can be used on any project and should be an ongoing process from project initiation all the way through to its conclusion. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please do hit the like button. That tells me it was useful and that you got a lot out of it, and it also tells me to produce more videos like this. And if you do subscribe and maybe even hit the bell button, you'll be notified of when I release new videos like this. So with that said, I wish you an excellent day.